Thank you so much for listening to Chaotic Harmony and going through the journey of this first season with us. This is already episode 20, and we cannot believe how much we have learned and have grown from this project. The four of us have watched this blossom into something that we never dreamed that it would be, but we're very grateful for it, and we're very grateful for all of you. We are looking for content for our next season that starts in the new year, so if you have an idea for something that you'd like to hear us talk about on the podcast, please email us, chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com. We will be coming in the new year on January 15th, 2020 with a brand new episode about planning. How do we plan for 7 grade levels? We would love to hear your ideas as well. And your voice is what makes this community and this podcast powerful. We believe in the power of stories. So thank you. Please keep reaching out to us. Please let us know how your story is growing in your life, and have a wonderful holiday season.
Welcome to Chaotic Harmony. My name is John.
This is Crystal.
I'm Mark.
I'm Zoe.
We talk about the joys and the challenges of teaching music in the elementary school classroom. We share inspiration, we share struggles, we brainstorm solutions. We would love to have you join us. Hey, welcome to Chaotic Harmony. I'm very happy to welcome our guest, Hans Chamberlain, today. Hi, Hans.
Yay.
Hello.
Yay! We've been really excited to have Hans on the program because he has been, you have been around longer than all of us.
I'm old, is what you're saying.
Well, and I put it that way.
Older than all of us.
I gotta say, you don't look older than all of us.
For
That's
sure.
true.
You could definitely fool everybody.
Yeah, I still get carded quite often.
That's right. Lori Humphrey said that too.
Yeah, 2 years ago I was carded for buying a rated R movie. So it's
2, you said?
yeah.
Still got it.
That's awesome.
But I'm finally at the age where it's a good thing. So
Yeah.
finally hitting there. I'm 38, so
Yay.
Nice.
that's it.
Yay. Hans, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
My name is Hans.
Hi.
I am a music teacher in
Yay.
Chula Vista Elementary School District. I started teaching right after college in 2003. I went to University of Redlands and music ed. I was a vocal major there, and I now get to teach, and I sing and I play. I play in a lot of different jazz groups and blues groups and such, and then I get to sing like a cappella jazz during the holidays too with a quartet, which is awesome.
That's so fun.
Dub, dub.
Is
Yeah.
it one of the
I
ones that
didn't know
dresses
that.
up like the Christmas Carol?
We have festive outfits.
Nice.
Yes, there's some festiveness going on.
Very cool.
Okay. I don't mean to interject, but I am going to.
Do it.
I feel like you skipped over like it's such a crucial detail in University of Redlands in that time. Could you you met Iris?
Yeah.
Who?
No?
So my wife is Irish. She's a teacher in the district, and she teaches 4th grade. She was a double major musical theater and liberal studies.
Okay.
We
And-
love Iris.
We
Yeah,
do.
I do too.
She's
so it's marriage is working really well. I'm a fan of marriage. So we met in kindergarten. We both
Oh,
went
wow.
to
No. Oh my gosh,
we went to
no
Hilltop
way.
Elementary School. So
Oh
I'm,
my god.
So you're from Chula Vista?
I'm from Chula
full
Vista.
on.
It's my
Okay.
town.
Yeah.
It's my town.
Okay. Whoa. Possessive.
Land on the territory.
Exactly.
Hashtag this is Chula.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got it right
I
here.
now teach, seriously like 4 minutes from the school where I went to elementary school in.
Wow.
So
I can't believe this. So
Yeah.
I was begging for this story before the podcast started, and I'm so happy to hear it. Kindergarten.
yeah, and then we
Aw.
we went to Chula Vista High School. I came in halfway through high school at Chula, and we, high school sweethearts. We we became boyfriend and girlfriend. I gave her a note, and she had to circle yes or no. Or it's not,
Will you go out with me, yes or no?
Yeah,
That's
it's one of those
awesome.
things. Yeah,
What'd you circle?
Yeah.
maybe.
I want
She wrote it in.
Right. Yeah.
you guess. Circle.
I had yes, and you had to choose. No, just kidding. But then we started going out in high school, and then stayed together all through college, and got married right after senior year, and and then what's just to add to it. So when I started teaching, there became 2 positions open at Discovery Charter Elementary, and they needed a music teacher and a dance teacher, but both part time. And but they had some other needs as well. So like for my first 5 years of my teaching career, I taught PE in the morning, which is hilarious because I even took like show choir as my PE credit in high school. But so I taught PE in the mornings and music in the afternoons, and Iris taught like EL support, and then dance in the afternoon. So we were part of a VAPA team together.
Oh wow!
But we even we interviewed together because there was like a need immediate. And that was with Michael Cole. It was awesome principal, super supportive of the arts. And even before like the Chula Vista boom, like we had like a full fine arts team with all 4 disciplines, and we got to do just a lot of cool things together.
Which was rare, I'm sure, back then.
Very rare.
Right.
So what was
And
it like back then?
I've only heard those stories from charter school teachers
Right.
too. Is that pretty much accurate, that it was just in the charters?
Yes, I also don't
Yeah.
have a district teacher perspective on that because I was that's how I started. I started in charter school, and everybody staying super late, doing a lot of extra work, but it's like you're wearing tons of hats as we do as music teachers.
Right.
And just trying to work together to build something cool.
Yeah.
With all 4 of those disciplines together, we started putting on musicals, and musicals are still happening there. Like yearly. Now Iris is directing them, but we co-directed for a while, and I was just music directing for a while. But it's got to be like 14 or 15 productions. It's gotten really huge.
It has.
So
Yeah. What did you guys do last year?
well, I haven't been a part of it because I got my own stuff now at Castle Park.
Okay. And she's still at Discovery?
And she's still at Discovery.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
So she's taught there for her whole career.
Okay. And I know your kids went there too, right?
Correct. Yeah. So they both go there now.
Okay.
So wait, they went to Discovery. So they chose mommy.
They what?
Never mind.
They picked mom.
Yeah.
Oh,
He said they picked mom.
See, well, it happened when my oldest was in kindergarten, my last year of teaching there. So
okay.
they already started.
Gotcha.
They already
Got it.
started there.
Okay.
Right. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that story, Hans.
You're welcome.
It's a
You want me
great
to tell it
story.
again, Zoe?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. In kindergarten, I wrote a note. No,
Kindergarten. Oh wow. High
married
He was
achieving.
really
High
advanced.
achieving. So wait, afterwards, where did you go?
After what?
Discovery.
After
So after Discovery, yeah.
Okay, so I taught at Discovery for 9 years. I did like PE, for 5 years and music in the afternoon, and then I did technology support for 4 years and did music in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
And then this position opened up, full-time music and
At Castle Park.
at Castle Park, and it was kind of one of the first. It was funded through a grant by Promise Neighborhood, and the grant was for the teacher salary and a full class set of orchestral strings.
Okay.
And I mean, I set out to be, a choir guy. I was going to be like high school choir guy, and I love a cappella music. I love singing. So, being tossed into strings was kind of a wake up call, but it's awesome. I'm a big fan.
Had you been a strings player at all before you started teaching
No,
it? Oh,
no.
Hey.
Yeah, you direct a
We have
phenomenal
more in
orchestra.
Oh, well,
common than
thank
I
you.
thought, Hans.
Well, yeah, I know just the
Yeah.
methods courses,
Right.
for music ed.
Right.
Sure,
No,
sure.
man, though, his orchestra is fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. They sound incredible.
Yeah, Hans has been
Yeah.
part of our collaborative concert for the past 2 years, and both times the orchestra's brought it.
We just stand in the back with drop jaws
Yeah,
and
so-
just watch the masterwork. How many years have you been there now?
This is my 6th or 7th, I think.
Okay.
So
I feel like it's your 7th.
I might be.
I think so. If I'm remembering.
That's that age
right.
thing again. Those years are running
You just start
together.
forgetting things. I know. Listen to
Yeah,
you.
but no, it's
3 years older than me.
You have a lot to learn these 3 years.
Thanks, Mr. Chamberlain. So tell me, I know that you have experience as a child going through Chula Vista with music in school. Is that correct?
It is not.
It is not.
No, I did.
Because there's a story that a certain board member likes to tell.
Okay, so that had nothing to do with Chula Vista.
Okay.
But I had like, song flutes in 3rd grade. But apart from that,
Song flute, how does that differentiate from...
worse. Worse than
Worse
recorder.
than recording.
Could you expound, please?
Well, I'm one of the few. I love recorder, man.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think
But it's
recorder.
phenomenal.
Played
It's
well.
known-
It's a lovely instrument.
I mean,
connotatively as the deaf instrument by
Right.
many. So you're saying worse
Yeah,
to
Sandra
those
calls it
people.
well,
Satan's
worse
little
in the
flute.
sense that, like, I don't know. I mean, recorder, you can play chromatically up 2 octaves. That's
Yeah.
like a legit instrument.
So what is a
It
song?
is.
What is a song flute?
It's like just diatonic. Like you can play a
8
scale.
notes?
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah.
It's like a
really
harmonica,
sad.
but
Okay.
flute.
Okay. So an instrument was not thrust into your hands in Chula Vista schools.
I grew up in a really musical family.
Okay.
So my mom and my dad, they both sing. My dad played professional trombone in just here in the San Diego community.
Okay.
We even got to play like in bands together, which is really cool. Jazz Cats
That's really
Orchestra,
cool.
and we've gotten hired for gigs together, so it was really awesome.
That's really cool.
But I remember, like we on a car trip we'd be singing, and my mom just really good harmonizer, and so we would just start working harmonies, and we'd be singing 4-part harmony as a family of 4, and that's just something that we did. It just became a natural thing, and I think I attribute a lot of my love for music just for that. Just singing together as a family is huge.
Yeah.
That's
Definitely.
been something I've been trying to unpack in recent months. Like, what is it about a car trip, like a long car trip, that is just so conducive for singing? I feel like those were my most, some of my most formative musical memories were in a car.
Well, I feel like before the headphones and such, before
And
you
the
had
iPads.
well, before you had only AA batteries to charge your thing, or D batteries if you had that. But you were forced to either look out the window or listen to something as a communal aspect. And
Right.
for
Yeah.
the fact that like singing is a wonderful way to do it. I remember over fall break, I was kayaking I was in a tandem kayak. That was the first time ever doing that. And the friend I was with, we were both kind of struggling to get it was a long session. And so we just started singing. And, and that just brought our spirits back up. It's kind of dumb singing. But,
Nothing makes you happier than singing with people.
Definitely.
It's true. My kids and I sing to, we have Keith Terry's CD in the
I
car, the
love
one that he did for kids. It's really
CD.
great.
I love
It's
everything about
great.
you.
Oh,
That one?
yeah. I was like, I love you too, Zoe.
Oh,
but yeah, that is the name of the CD.
That's a side note. But we'll take it. Yeah.
bonus points.
Yeah, that one and Doug Goodkin's Jazz for Kids on the Boom Chicka Boom. Those are great. My kids love those. Anyway, but yeah,
awesome.
car trips, they're fun. Do you sing with
Yeah.
your girls in the car?
Yeah, we still,
Yeah.
we sing and we're into it. I
Carry that
remember
on.
in high school, we sang Boyz II Men's Yesterday arrangement.
Yeah.
Such a
For
good
like a,
song.
like a, what's the word? Talent show or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, it was classic.
Yeah.
So
Good
Oh, that was a
times.
different song. I'm sorry. I
Good
sang a
times.
different song. It wasn't yesterday.
It's okay.
that's okay. It still
It's
sounds good.
not okay.
But I did want to
So
add.
that's at Miss Kumagai.
Yeah,
Oh, no! But do you also sing on your boat? I want to know. I want to hear boat stories.
Hans has a sailboat.
Yeah, I'm into
His
sailing
family
too.
goes sailing.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sing on your boat.
We don't sing on the boat. I'm
Oh.
usually
No sea
I'm usually
shanties?
stressed about
We're so
doing
focused on-
something. There's so much
What do you
stuff
do
to
with
do.
a drunken sailor? Okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay, that makes sense though, because I feel like sea shanties were like rhythmic for rowing,
it's
whereas the sail it seems
It's more like, hold that, now let it go. And don't sing about it, just do it.
Okay. I thought like acrobatic. I see people like they have to like duck underneath the. I don't know what it's called.
The boom.
Boom.
Sure.
Yeah, it's rightfully named.
Because it goes boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get boat bites.
Boat bites.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I got so enthralled by car ride. Did we go into the whole post song flute like your
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Your musical
Your musical-
education.
yeah.
So your
Oh.
family was musical. There
Yes.
was a song flute involved somewhere.
no with yeah
Right.
I started taking piano lessons, and I remember my dad sitting me down kind of going, okay, is this something you'd want to do, and it's probably one of those parent mind tricks, where
sure
leaving it up to me, but it's kind of not,
Definitely.
and so I said yes. He said, okay, but if you say yes, like we're gonna hold you to that, and kind of like we're gonna reinforce that practice, and I'm like, yeah, but I want to do it, and so I started taking piano lessons, and after about a year and a half, I really wanted to stop, and my parents were like, no, this is something you agreed to, so we're gonna keep going, and so. But one thing my dad did do, he knew some chords, play, he'd lead worship in church and that kind of stuff, and playing guitar chords on piano. And he'd start to show me how to form some of those chords. And it became like, he said, okay, so you practice your note stuff, for 20 minutes. In the last 10 minutes, you can start practicing chords. And, we kind of flexed that way. And I just really started getting into it, and then because I was able to play chords, there was a community jazz band led by Ricky Peterson called Jazz Tracks, and it was made up of 6th and 7th graders, and she put together like a jazz big band. And she's
so
just
cool.
Total volunteer, just and it was all kids that went to Kellogg. But then when they went into middle school, all different middle schools, they kept the band together.
Okay, cool.
This band stayed together for like 6 years.
Wow.
And we just went through so much. I mean, there were high school groups, playing festivals, and they're learning their 4-song festival set, but we were playing like 2 to 3 hour big band dance gigs. Like we really got into it,
Yeah.
But I remember, playing chords and worship and stuff, and you're using the sustain pedal a lot. And we had like
Sure.
clinicians come, and he like physically walked up and grabbed my leg and took it off the damper pedal, during just while we're playing. And I'm like, whoa. So, I've had to, learn a lot and adapt, but yeah, and I just fell in love with jazz, started taking jazz lessons from Rick Helzer, an amazing jazz professor who was at San Diego State. So my dad would drive me out there, in high school. And so I just was able to play and then, gig in high school and college. And then coming back down here, I was able to get into a couple bands. And like we just played yesterday at Mira Mesa College. And we got to have Willie Murillo, just a fabulous trumpet player from, who's like studio musician and just awesome music and doing the history of the trumpet. So I'm really blessed to be able to play with some really awesome musicians in San Diego. That's awesome. I get to do that. I get to teach and I get to play,
That's cool.
Definitely.
Really feed your soul.
It's just some of that life balance too. It's like I can, a call will come and it's like, oh, sweet, I have a gig, and then when I don't, it's like, sweet, I don't have a gig. It's like, you've got time. So
Yeah.
it's really nice. I'm glad that I don't have to rely. I'd be a much better player if I would do that just full time. But I also, I don't know if I'd be as happy doing that.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I think it's really easy to lose your joy when you're a professional musician and it just becomes a job. And I've seen too many professional musicians lose the romance. So I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think it's really it's really the type of person. I think I've seen some people do it and it's just awesome, and I've seen other people where they just get sterile and kind of shun the audience a bit and just. But then I've seen some people try to be teachers and have that not be good either. So,
there's
so
that.
I think it's just the giftedness, and what
fills you
better
up.
suits. Yeah,
For sure. So I would love to hear from your perspective what the last few years have looked like as you've gone from kind of a standalone guy teaching your little music program at Discovery to now there's like 40 people at our music teacher meetings. Yeah. What's that looked like for you?
Just such a blessing.
Yeah.
Like it's just the coolest thing to like have like a community of like-minded teachers. I mean, I didn't get to experience that for the first, half of my career.
Yeah.
So the fact that like we have a group of us that, when you have those rough days, which we all do, and then you go to a music teacher meeting and you're like, oh man, here we go. And then somebody shares a story and you're like, oh yeah, see I've had good days too. And it's like, it's just really solid. And for, just that wealth of knowledge and experience. And, I can call one of you guys up and what are you doing for this song? And it's just really, it's giving and sharing's caring. And, it's, everybody's really selfless.
Yeah.
So,
Very
I think
open group.
Yeah, it really is. So I think that's been the biggest impact, and I think just the ORF training, just going through something like that together, has been really solid for us. And I think it's really helped to kind of bond us together as a group.
Yeah.
That's when we met Iris.
Yep.
Yes.
She didn't work level
So
one
when I
with
was in
us.
kindergarten,
That's when I became obsessed with this relationship.
I didn't even know you guys were married till like the last day of ORF.
Yeah, I didn't know.
So covert.
we're that romantic with each other.
But you guys were there to bond with everybody, and I think it's really neat. Yeah. So,
Well, she just loved watching me in movement because I'm, she's a mover. Like
She is.
anytime we're like, anybody want to play recorder or play the mallets or play, percussion, or if you want to hold a scarf. That was Iris,
Well,
So,
we've
She's
had
so
an
graceful,
ongoing
though.
joke in our district too that hands didn't have scarves for years. It's just like somebody would make a comment at every meeting for years about, so when are you going to get scarves, hands?
I know. And just this year, and I think I've used it probably every day. Probably every day.
look
Just
at that.
this past year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had some kids do
late,
some pretty
you know?
cool stuff with scarves, right? On stage.
Well, did we want to go there
we
yet?
did.
Let's
You wanna go there?
there.
Yeah. All right. Shall we go there? What did you do with your scarf?
Get your
Yes.
tissue box ready.
Get your scarf ready.
Your multi-use.
You don't want to
Doubles
use
as
that
a
scarf
hanky.
twice. You do not.
Okay, I mean, the scarf is an interesting segue, but sure. So,
That was the first thing I saw with the video. I was like, hey, he's
Yes.
scarves.
Yeah. Well, okay, so, to backtrack a little bit. So, with our orchestra, we did the first collaborative concert.
Yes,
Right,
correct.
at the library, correct? That was the very first one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go listen to
And,
that
They
podcast.
slayed.
Yeah, that year, and year to year, it's always different. I had just a couple kids, really take to their strings, and half the group better than me at strings. So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
You stayed one step ahead, Hans.
Of some of these kids, I would say no.
No? Okay.
Some of these kids, I would say no.
I saw them the year before.
Okay.
So I was
yeah,
like,
so you
Hans is
saw-
keeping up.
No. I'd like to.
And then
I
they passed
should.
you.
No, they did pass. They
how
did
you know
pass
you're a
me.
good teacher.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
But that year, I think especially just I had a lot of interested kids in strings that were just really, really into it, and were really bonded together. And we played. They did a great job. Some tough arrangements.
They were playing middle school arrangements.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they rocked it. They did a really great job. And so Jacqueline, VH1 Save the Music, she was there with Lauren, and they were both there and saw. And Jacqueline was like, I'd love to be able to partner with this school. And because I was not a Save the Music school, but a Promised Neighborhood school.
Oh, did
and
I
I was
know
like, yeah, I was the only school that was like the Promised Neighborhood grant for music. And again, such a blessing that I got to do it, but I was also a bit disjointed from
Right.
all of the other grants and supports in the district.
Right.
So knowing that we had stringed instruments, she's like, I wonder if there's a way we can, still partner. And so over the next 2 years, I got to become one of the VH1 schools as well for the ORF package, because I had strings
Oh, okay.
and rhythm sticks. Like, and we did have some barred instruments, but I think it was like a total of 12, and that was including four
That
glockenspiels.
explains why your instrumentorium is off the hook.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
drool over that.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
That's why I like to not have teacher meetings at my school, because I
I'm
just
like,
hear
you have
teachers
so
like
many
jealous.
xylophones.
I can smell the jealousy, No.
I'm not jealous. I'm celebrating it. That he does have orchestra and orf. What?
I do.
gosh.
Yeah. But you got those huge deep bass bars.
Dude.
I'm telling
know.
you, man, like
That's because my principal rocks.
okay, we'll see.
That was
Yeah.
her.
We're,
Anyway.
we're jealous too. Everybody's
I know,
jealous.
it's true.
And we all love each other.
We do, and I'm not sharing. You can't have my bass bars.
Exactly. So because of that, we got, now we have like a full ORF instrumentarium, and which is a huge blessing. And it was Bro-Am that funded it. Funded the grant for VH1 Save the Music.
Bro-Am is run by the band
Switchfoot.
Switchfoot.
Which is so cool because I've been a fan forever.
Right.
Like forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Switchfoot has
John
a lot of
knows.
Yeah, I know.
fangirls
I
around
know.
John
this
knows,
table.
man. Yeah. John and I could fangirl over Switchfoot
yeah.
all day. Yeah.
I love it too.
And like they're, just side note, I feel like they're like digital and analog. Like they've got like modern sounds, but with like real rock band drive. And they sing about like great stuff, like, just trying to get your head out of materialism and just, all the stuff that just
Wow.
really drags us
Yeah.
down. Like it's really cool to have some redeeming lyrics.
Above
And-
surface level lyrics.
Yeah.
Well, and their music is just complex.
Yes.
Interesting.
Oh yeah.
Like
Super
you can
dynamic
analyze it.
and like
Many mixed metered pieces.
Yeah,
7,
I know,
8,
I
5,
love
4
it.
here and there.
right, and they don't sound like anybody else. They have their own sounds. So I'm a huge fan. So because of that, we were able to perform with them. They invited some of my kids to play with them at Bro-Am, which is like 20,000 people, on the beach. So
It's a big like surf festival concert that they host every year.
so some of my kids, have played for more people than I've played for. I'm not bitter, I mean, that's their like first big performance, and
Yeah.
it's 20,000 people at the beach.
That's amazing.
It's so cool.
Set the standard for them.
I love putting kids
Yeah.
on stage like that because they just have no fear. They just
I know.
do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and am I mistaken? You had some of your orchestra kids in that ensemble.
Yes, correct.
I noticed some of them, and
Yes.
I was so happy for them.
Right. Yeah. So I took my orchestra. Again, it's a small school, so my orchestra is like 8 kids.
Right.
12 kids sometimes. You know, I've had up to 16. It flexes.
Sure.
But so I kind of went with those kids. Those are the
Yeah.
kids that I know are committed to, to be in an ensemble, to work together, kids that are committed to being at rehearsals after school. And so basically, the Switchfoot representative said, okay, so choose a song and see if you can kind of arrange it. We want them to use the instruments that the grant funded. And I'm like, okay, so how, bass bars aren't gonna carry,
Right.
and how
Yeah.
do we get them at the beach? And so I was just like,
Yeah,
okay.
or if instruments on stage.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, let's just sing and then use glockenspiels, because those things will cut. Those will cut into a
Yes.
mic.
For sure.
And it's easy to carry. And so I arranged Wonderful Feeling and just made it work where they're singing and some accompaniment and, one girl singing solo and
She killed it.
She did.
they did a really good job. But the funniest thing is we showed up at the benefit dinner, and so John Foreman, he's like, "Oh yeah, come on back." And I'm like, "Okay." And so he's talking and said, "Okay, yeah, so we switched the key on this song, and then we kind of go into like this Lean on Me in the middle, and then we do." I'm like, because it's not just vocal, like we
Right.
can't just.
Right.
I'm like, well, can we show you what we've worked on, and then we can kind of shift it and change it from there? He's like, yeah, that's great, and he's just super nice and chill. And so, and my favorite video wasn't the big one. I have video of us just backstage, with the 4 girls singing with John, and it was like his first time hearing them, and his reaction. He's just so warm with the kids, So they sang through it and played. They did a great job, and he's like, we've got to do that, And so the band was like, all right, we got to remember how to play it in this key, because when they toured,
Right.
they're
Right.
touring with it's playing it a certain way, and
Yeah.
so that's hard, So
Yeah.
I really appreciated them flexing in that way, but
I'm pretty sure they couldn't use the video because too many people were crying.
yeah.
I'm just thinking about it. It was so.
It's so
Moving.
special when other people treat the kids that you love so much
Yeah.
with just as much care as
Yep.
you, because it's a vulnerable thing to put them on stage, and I take so seriously their emotional lives, and so to see other adults treat our kids with respect, nothing gets me.
I just remember,
like that.
on stage at the benefit dinner, and he's just like, let's just give, a round of applause for the beauty that's on stage. And I'm just like, for these kids, it's so
Yeah.
cool.
Right.
It's just the coolest thing.
Yeah.
So,
And then one of his little girls that sang a solo on stage at Bro-Am got to show that video to our board of education and give a speech about what it meant to her. And the audience was just full of music teachers, and we were all crying.
Red eyes everywhere.
She spoke so eloquently.
yeah, she did a great job.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's really, that's just one of those things that they're going to carry with them for the rest of their lives.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. But
Yeah.
but more so for them. It's just, I think it's a lasting memory, and I think they will always look fondly on. I think any musical thing they do, it will be a part of their story, which is really cool. So,
And that's beautiful. You talked before, I noticed a theme, which I think, whenever we take qualitative research, you have themes that emerge. And I've noticed themes in all of these interviews. And yours are, and it makes your values clear. I'm hearing a lot of openness is important to you, community. Music for you started in community with your family, and you make music together. And you've been such an important part of fostering that feeling in our community. I came into our little group of Chula Vista teachers after almost leaving the profession, and feeling very alone and very burned out. And the first time I met you guys was at that meeting we had at the Olympic Training Center, and Lauren walked me into that classroom, and you were the first music teacher I met. And I was a little nervous because the only other music teachers I'd met before when I was in a different school system was that weird competition that can kind of come from other music teachers sometimes. And I felt nothing from you but warmth and openness. And Lauren introduced you, and she was like, he's been here longer than anyone, and he can help you. And I don't have any resources to give you. You're going to walk into day one with no instruments. We don't have a curriculum, but Hans has figured some things out. And you were like, yeah, I'll help you.
And then you took it and ran with it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We'll see about that. But I'm grateful for it that from day one you were nothing but helpful, and it's just spread. And
I'm just so stoked to see other music teachers.
I know, right? They exist.
It's true. It's been so cool.
What was like
It
the
is
early
cool.
meetings like? I'm curious.
Very small.
Yeah.
It
Well, I
was
can imagine
like,
that, but like, what were like discussions on and such?
Feels long ago now.
Yeah.
Well,
was it just
I honestly,
Lauren and a couple people, or
Like, who was
Yes.
you?
It
Who
was
else
me,
was there?
Michael Gray.
Okay.
Andrea, right?
No,
Oh, she
no.
joined
She's
my-
switched
my-
over
yeah.
later. Okay.
Lowry, Maya,
Lori, yes, and Maya. Yeah.
Judy.
Little
Judy,
ragtag bunch.
I think yes. I think Judy was there too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a very small group. It was like if somebody doesn't show up to a meeting, the meeting is way smaller.
We're missing 25% of our participants.
And I think for the first year or so, it was kind of like the way you were feeling in that moment, Crystal. Just like it was kind of like we just needed a therapy session of like, okay, I have nothing and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
What are you doing and how? I remember you guys had the strings the string orchestral instruments are coming. The grant has funded them. They're on their way.
Yeah.
But like they didn't come till like end of second quarter.
Oof.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be awesome, but I have nothing.
No
and,
materials. Yeah.
and I remember right at the beginning too. I forgot about this part of the story is when I was hired for Castle Park. I mean, I was the only music teacher that was on the employable list.
Oh.
So,
So you were the only music teacher in the district, huh?
basically that
Yeah.
was a district employable teacher.
Yeah.
And that was because of the hoops I had to go through, year to year at Discovery.
Right.
So there was a position open, funded, but no one could really fill it. And so the principal and Lauren, they were looking at me and my principal was like, I think rightfully so, like, I don't want to just hire you because you're the only one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I started as a sub at that school.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
For about 2 months. So I worked at sub pay with no, real clear indication that I would be able to stay or not. And it's like, okay, and you have to build this program with nothing. And I remember after a month and a half or so, and Lauren brought like a bin of rhythm sticks, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" thank you." And that's how desperate we were for anything. I mean, I was bringing my any random instruments I had at my house.
Sure,
I was
Right.
checking my keyboard, like my pro keyboard rig, every day, just so that I could lead some things with keyboard. And I
Did you have a room?
no, I did not have a room. I would set up in the PD room.
Okay.
And then once the string instruments came in, I had to use the cafeteria. And everybody's jealous of my chairs because I got like awesome
They're
musician
beautiful.
chairs
They have
on
music
racks.
notes on them.
But the reason why we had those is because I started in the auditorium and I had to set them up, tear them down between each class because of all the movement. So I would do my general music in the PD room and then set up strings in the auditorium. It was not fun.
No.
I mean, it was awesome, but as a year one string teacher and having to set all that up back and forth was tough. But
I just love how every single material that we have in our classrooms has a war story attached to it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we fought for that.
yep.
Yeah.
Like, I fought for that rhythm stick.
That's
you
right.
know?
I just, as you were saying that, I just had this flashback that I'd completely forgotten about till now. Like my first month of teaching, I went to the dollar store and I bought like dowel rods to use for rhythm sticks.
Yep.
And it was they were colored. They had like dye, and it was a hot day, and the kids' hands, like by the end
We all
of
knew where that was
class, were covered with dye.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You've been to music class, haven't you?
Oh my gosh, it was a nightmare.
Red-handed.
Yeah, right. And blue and green and every color of the rainbow. I'm like, don't touch the walls. Oh man, yeah, the things that we've we've been through, but to see what we've built now, see now you have a beautiful space to teach in with natural light that's decorated and organized.
We were also one of the first schools that, renovation schools. I think that was my second or third year. And again, that was tough because the schedule was different. My family's used to being crazy during the quarter and hardly seeing each other and running from this to that. But then once we hit break, it's like, dude, we're on break.
Together,
And we were all on the same break. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
But that year was really tough because the modernization schedule was different, so
your breaks didn't line up with your kids.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah.
But now, I have a really solid room, with a lot of great support from my principal and from my staff, and then a full instrumentarium. So now it's just like, okay, now I got to make the best use of these, and what's the best thing, and we have just tons of options now, which is nice, but still trying to sort out. I feel like every year is like, okay, well, let's try this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
it's kind of hard to get out of that inventing mode,
No, I was just about to say, like, every year I feel like you've been expanding in some sense or another.
Yeah.
Like this past year, you just got the Orphan Instrumentarium. Like, I'm sure when you first did Orff, that must have been quite the shift for you, right?
Yeah, definitely.
What was that like? Because did you have any understanding or acknowledgement of Orff before that?
Again, just methods classes and music ed.
Like, this is a thing that exists.
So, we understand this exists.
Yes.
What was that shift like for you then?
I think Orff really helped me think like a teacher.
Okay.
I think more so than build curriculum for me, it's shaped who I am and how I think of scaffolding something that I want to teach. I think just the emphasizing the importance of play, like it's got to be fun, and teaching music as a language where you've got to do it before you understand or can even articulate what it is. Like you have to be able to do it first. And so I think that's really helped. I also think just I remember Michael Gray, talking in a meeting, and they're like, well, how do we teach with that? How do we align with the curriculum? And she's like, well, pick a topic. What do you, rain. Okay. And so we wrote a poem and then start adding accompaniment to it. And you realize,
created iconic notation to go with it. I remember that.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, this very difficult thing we do could be really easy.
Yeah.
The method can be easy. The work's not, but the method is.
The process that you follow is always the same.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the way I was teaching before is, kids that were kind of naturally inclined to music would take to it. And the kids that weren't wouldn't. And so I think Orff especially has helped change. Like I've got to think holistically as a classroom and think, okay, I've got to try to meet all of these kids. And so when you're talking about community, even like my behavior management program, it's all about ensemble. It's, we're not a performance ensemble, but we are an ensemble. We're trying to work on something together. And so, I think it's
so important for our kids to understand.
So I was lucky to student teach in Chula Vista at the beginning, and then I got to observe you. And something that really stuck with me, I thought you were a really good strings teacher, by the way.
Oh, wow.
But
that says a lot for me.
Seriously,
it was stamp of approval.
I thought all the kids were engaged and they were following along. And
well, give them all a stick and they're happy. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man, you just pushed that button.
I was just kidding.
But no, the other thing that really stuck with me was like the classroom management. And so I'm wondering, because you just had a really good not only rapport with students, but it felt very structured and safe. And when kids were pushing the limit, you kept things within boundaries that you were comfortable with. So I'm wondering if you have just like a tip or like one or two things that you would like to pass on to someone that's listening.
Yeah. So I believe in, simple rules, but those rules don't change. And I feel like that's structure, and it can be strict, but it's still structure that kids can feel safe in. And kids will challenge it. And this isn't perfect, doesn't work for everybody. I don't think any one system does. So I just, acronym music and make good choices, use equipment properly, speak when the time is right, involve yourself in all activities, and cooperate with others. So those are my 5.
Those are solid.
And then so I went to like a kind of a clip system where they're numbered, but again, it's all about ensemble. You don't move up You don't move down. We're all an ensemble. We're all working together to make this function as a place of learning for everybody. And anything that you want to do in that moment that kind of takes away from that is not conducive to what we're trying to do. You know, as you know, I'm not trying to be selfish with my time. Don't try to be selfish with your time. Like, we're all working together, and these 5 rules are going to help us do it. And then basically, if I have a student that's not following one of those rules, I'm able to just walk and quietly say to them, can you go move your magnet to make good choices, please? And then boom, continue just teaching.
Yeah.
And so I've tried that now for 3 years. Again, there's some classes that this does not work with, but I'm struggling to find something that will, produce perfect behavior. It won't,
When you find it,
Let us know.
exactly.
put it on Teachers Pay Teachers and make $1 million.
Yeah, there's a couple specific classes that I was doing this for to try it, but what I found is that it really helped my teaching for everybody. And those really tough classes I'm just going to keep melding and trying to adapt.
Yeah.
But I found, just across the board, it's been really great to just be able to in a really calm voice, just let them know, and then just just continue.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
and as it, if they have to move down again, then they sit, it's not a timeout. It looks like a timeout, but it's not. It's like, this is a time of observation. Like, I have to, it's not working. I have to remove you from the ensemble right now, because it's, you're not helping us out. So 10 minutes, can you just observe how the other kids are acting, and then they do that after 10 minutes. You ready to come back? Move it back to ensemble. And then if after that they need another reminder and they move down again, then it's like, okay, I'm just going to write a letter home to parents, and just parents bring it back and say, these are the rules they had a hard time following today. And it doesn't impact their classroom. It doesn't take away recess from them. It doesn't.
Right.
So I don't know if it's perfect, but I feel like it's working pretty well. And until I find something better, I'm just going to keep using it.
on
So,
hammering on.
I've heard from other district employees who have worked with you about your classroom management. So I think it's working.
awesome. Well,
At least from
Yeah.
the outsider's perspective.
That's good.
We're like, wow.
Yeah.
Man, he's got
Awesome.
it.
There are
That's
so
good.
many. We've covered a lot of ground in this interview, so thank you.
Of course.
I mean,
No,
thank
I
you for
appreciate it.
sharing.
Seriously.
So it's just, I feel like there's just been so many useful tidbits that you can just pull from this. But so from what I understand, if things go the way we all hope they continue to go in California, there are going to be a lot of other music teachers in the position that we found ourselves in the last few years, where they're moving into communities where they have to start programs where there have been none for a very, very long time. So I'd kind of like to end with maybe what has gotten you through and kept you going? What kept you in the job when you didn't have materials for half a year? And do you have anything that maybe you could speak to be encouraging?
It was rhythm sticks, right? That's what
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
those rhythm
That,
sticks.
yeah, she walked
Yeah.
in, you're like, okay, I
I'm
can
stuck.
stay. Yeah.
I think for anybody that's kind of embarking in, I don't know, starting in a position where they feel pretty alone, I think you need to just really become part of your school community. Because I don't, I didn't have a music teacher community, but I have my school community and I have you guys. And I think just always being a part of the solution, not being a part of the problem, not being a complainer, and just, I think, by showing that you're willing to go the extra mile and really benefit the whole school, then when it comes time to advocate for, when it comes time to say no at the right things and say yes at the right things, you kind of have established yourself as someone who is really school and student minded. I think that's really important. So, I would say, at my school, I volunteered to take the schedule because that's a hard job. But I also feel like I could do it, and then also give the right kind of input into it. So
That's
I feel
really
like,
smart.
but I feel like it's
Yeah.
it's really good for all of us. It's one less thing that other people have to do. So I just jump in, help take charge, know when to let go, and when to jump in with both feet and be flexible, because that's what we have to do.
That's right.
Don't be a complainer, and just try to get along well with everybody. And buy rhythm sticks.
Buy rhythm sticks
And
that are
scarves.
not
And scarves.
and
And
scarves.
scarves.
And rhythm sticks that are not dyed with
Yes.
poor quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I I think that you guys doing this is a really, really cool thing.
Thanks.
Thank
So
you.
I really appreciate the fact that you're like creating something that other people can listen in on, and whether it's 2 or 2,000 or whatnot. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's really awesome.
Thank you.
I'm a
Makes
big
sense.
fan.
We're hoping that the right people find it who need
Yeah.
to hear it, you
Yeah.
know? And if you did, and you found it helpful, you can let us know.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Actually,
Well,
that's actually
a good
really
segue.
important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please
Hans, I do
do.
appreciate you being one of our first. But
Yeah.
if anyone else
We
would,
want to find more.
well, seriously, we want to find more, and one way that would help us a lot is if you are watching this. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Yeah, you.
Oh, yeah,
If
there's
you're-
cameras.
cameras.
There are cameras.
It would be super helpful if you subscribe, just because it helps more people get visibility for this. Because
Yeah.
as we mentioned several times on this podcast and several ones before, it's the community that really makes us stick. So
right.
more visibility allows more people to watch us and more people to learn and be a part and engage in our community, not just in Chula Vista, but United States and the world beyond.
Yeah.
So subscribe, please. And also, it would be super helpful if you leave us a review on iTunes or any podcast service. Any podcast service.
The most important part, Crystal.
I know, you ruined it. We accept
Sorry.
5 stars only. Only 5 stars. 4.5 we maybe, but yes, please do give us a review so that, once again, it helps with our visibility and we can keep on having these things out here. Also,
I'm
if
sorry,
you
I'm being really noisy right now.
you're not forgiven.
This is
You're not sorry, you're proud.
for Spiccato. Keep going.
And lastly, if you have any questions or you want to share your thoughts or you want to speak to us in some collective form, you can always email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com.
That's right.
Yes.
And we'll be really pumped if you do. I want to take a quick break and thank my husband, Bryan, who's been working behind the scenes producing these episodes every week on all of the platforms and on time. But you need to know that he is first a financial planner for Mission Trails Financial. Mission Trails Financial is a partner that seeks to guide clients in the journey to financial success. They believe that people need a financial advisor that aims to provide strategies for success. Mission Trails Financial helps people navigate investments, tax planning, and insurance. Imagine working with an advisor who isn't tied to specific brands. Mission Trails Financial has a fiduciary responsibility to act in the best interests of their clients by providing independent, objective advice. Their mission is to help clients accomplish their financial goals. As Joe Vitale once said, a goal should scare you a little and excite you a lot. Do yourself a favor and set up a time to chat with Mission Trails Financial. Visit www.missiontrailsfinancial.com or call 619-419-0238 to schedule a call. If you're in the area, they'd love to have you come by the office. You'll be glad you did. We believe that leaning on professionals is how we get ahead. Check out the program notes for more information. All right, so this is we've been doing Spiccato. So we've been taking turns bringing random objects and telling how we would use them in the music room. So
wow.
these are some of my boys' favorite toys. They are Magnatiles. These ones, the brand is called Magnatiles, but there's plenty of off-brand versions.
Because we're not being paid by Magnatiles.
They're really fun. No,
Although
we're definitely
Magnatiles,
Maybe.
if you want
if you want to
Hit us
sponsor
up.
the podcast,
You
we
can
are
email
looking
us
for
at-
sponsors. That's right. So, what do you think? You may take a minute. You can play with them.
Gosh, our podcast
Yeah.
is going to be so like.
I know it's going to be really noisy.
Well, for me, as like the fact that I'm magnetic, one thing I'm really thinking about is not just doing like plastic anime, but also like connected.
Oh.
Can you explain
Forms.
what that means?
Yeah.
I wish I could.
Unpack.
Could you unpack that for me? Someone who has a
Connected. So, were we thinking a movement
no.
activity?
Well, first
or-
off, plastic anime. Could someone
Oh,
define that for
I have
me?
no idea what those words
I
mean.
remember.
From Dalcroze.
Yes.
Yeah, it's essentially, if I get this right, it's a non-choreographed children.
We're playing
It's a
with toys.
non-choreographed form of movement and dance where where individuals are moving to the music in some way, shape, or form. So
Okay.
what I'm looking for is having people pose, but also posing in connected ways. So if I like do if I do like a weird, I don't know, if I do a dab, there we go. I connect with hands, and then hands then connects with Zoe, and Zoe connects with Crystal, and we form something new and collective.
Cool. So you move, and then you freeze, and you have to be connected.
Yeah, and then
in
we can
some
also also add on to
you
the
could build
geometric
a shape.
digression activity
Okay.
we've done before, where we would count down 16 beats and then 8 beats, choose a new pose, 4 beats, new pose.
So build a sculpture, and then
By beat, you shift it.
mimic it with your body. Mimic your sculpture.
Sure.
I'm having trouble with the connection with the Magnatiles.
The Magnatiles is connecting. So I don't even know. I guess maybe you just say the fact.
Oh, just like acknowledge the fact that they connect at different points.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
The more theoretical form.
Okay, understood. Anybody else?
I would love a math connection. Being someone that struggled in math, I appreciate anything that will make it a little easier. So, like,
They're geometric.
we've got squares, we've got
Triangles.
not
triangles.
equilateral. There's
Isosceles.
Oh, they're isosceles.
Okay, because 2 sides are the same.
2 sides of the same, yes.
We've got isosceles, triangles. We do have some equilateral
We do.
triangles and some squares.
We
So
do.
identifying what type of shape, how many sides, and then the number of sides determining how many beats you have to move.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's next level, Miss
Oh,
Kumagai. I appreciate
Trying
that.
to get to that common core.
Yeah.
Or as also, as
Watch
we've
out for the
learned from
chaotic harmony
Lori,
classroom.
maths.
Oh, yes, math. That's right.
I think maybe I'm too literal, but these look like very structural.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I feel like you could like build with these things.
Oh, you could.
So I'm wondering
They get
if
intense.
I don't know, as a part of a story or something. So so
Okay.
creating the scene plot or the set of a scene in a book, and then I don't know. I was thinking of Joshua Block. I just
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh. Yeah, I just picture him having each group create a sculpture and then people doing a gallery walk with it
Okay.
and then attempting to recreate those sculptures
That'd be really
with
cool.
That would be fun.
with just the people.
So sit in a circle. Everybody makes their own statue, and then you walk around the circle, and you stop, and you imitate someone else's sculpture with your body.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be fun.
All nonverbal.
Yeah.
I get 5
Like a
stars for that.
living art gallery.
Oh my
Or
goodness.
a literal
I get 5 stars
rhythm
to chaotic
brick.
harmony.
Yeah, that's how I was thinking I would use them actually, is as some sort of iconic notation. I haven't
Okay.
done it yet, but they connect so nicely. You could use it to show form, like if I used, arrows for the beginning and end of a piece, and then have A be green blocks and B be a yellow block. I think it would be kind of a nice way to visualize how a song is put together using different colors. Or if you picked the ones that are, like the little these guys, these little what are
Isosceles.
they? Isosceles triangles. Yeah, they're half a square. So they could be rhythm blocks. It would be nice to show, like, this is one.
Oh, I didn't even see those ones.
The square
Nice.
is one beat, and then you could have 2 of these guys, and then it'd be like
fractions
Yeah.
right there.
yeah, it's fractions, and then it's also like
Toddy.
a quarter note, or there you go, or an eighth note, right?
Or actually, one thing that I just thought about as you were pointing out, like the iconic notation, since these are magnetic, you go place these on the whiteboard.
On the whiteboard.
And then you could do mixed meter stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was just
Square,
Look at
square,
that.
How
square,
are you
square,
still at your house,
triangle,
Crystal,
square,
and not in
square,
your
triangle,
classroom?
square,
What?
How are
square.
these still at your
that's what I
house
was
and not in
thinking.
your classroom?
They're some of
That's
my
why-
kids' favorite toys.
Yep, yep.
They
So
make
cool.
a very and nobody talked about the sound they make. They make
Yeah.
a very
But
distinct
everyone
sound.
heard
Hey guys,
it.
they make
Yes,
this
they
sound.
do. Stop.
You've heard it. The
We
whole,
just lost 10 subscribers.
It also
We only
makes
have
this
11. So
Thank you, Jason, for staying with us.
wherever you are.
Wherever.
Actually, because they make such a distinctive sound, we have totally caught the kids in the middle of the night. Like we're like, oh my gosh, we hear the magnet tile.
Oh, what about something train? I
Ooh.
wonder if you could move, or everybody adds to it as a. Okay, we should.
Battleship.
Yep,
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
And then they crash together.
it's pretty fun. This is almost as good as when we played with plastic dinosaurs.
Oh man.
All right, good
Cool.
one,
I
guys.
missed that one. Hannah.
Okay.
It was a good time.
Oh man,
Good
that sounds
spiccato,
awesome.
guys. Okay, I believe it's time for round of the week.
Round of the week.
Round of the week.
So we have this, since right now it is October as we're recording it. Who knows when it's going to be released? No one knows.
No one knows.
I have a round for you guys. It's called The Leaves Turn Gold in the Fall. It was not in our round book, And if you're from San Diego, you have no clue what I'm singing about. Because
We have like one kind of tree that turns
we have
colors.
one.
Liquid ambers.
There's one.
Yeah, the liquid amber trees.
But it's pretty exciting when it does.
We love them. We love them so much.
The leaves turn gold in the fall, turn red, turn old in the fall, fall down, turn brown, grumble and crumble under my feet in the fall. It's a complex one. Let's
It
do.
is.
Yeah.
Can you
Echo
echo
it.
it? Yeah.
Echo it. The leaves turn gold in the fall.
The leaves turn gold in the fall.
Turn red, turn old in the fall.
Turn red, turn gold in the fall.
Fall down, turn brown, grumble and crumble.
Fall down, turn brown, grumble and crumble.
Yeah. Fall down, turn brown,
Fall down, turn brown,
grumble and crumble.
grumble and crumble.
Under my feet in the fall.
Under my feet in the fall.
Try the whole thing.
Yep,
First two lines.
Sure.
we can do it.
The leaves turn gold in the fall. Turn red, turn old in the fall. Fall down, turn brown, grumble and crumble under my feet in the fall. So let's try it together once, and then Hans, you and me sing, and then you guys
Boys
Yeah, I'll
versus
follow
girls.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So together first.
Together.
1, 2. The leaves turn gold in the fall. Turn red, turn old in the fall. Fall down, turn brown, grumble and crumble under my feet in the fall. The leaves turn gold in the fall. Turn red, turn old in the fall. Fall down, turn brown, grumble and crumble under my feet in the fall. Under my feet in the fall. Awesome. Cool.
Just like we practiced.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I did 5 more times singing that.
It's great. Hans, where can people find you on? Do you have a Twitterverse that you, or Twitter that you guys you
I've
post on?
tagged you.
Yep.
Yes,
I know you do.
I do. Yeah, CPE Music.
At CP Music
Yeah,
on Twitter.
at CPE Music on Twitter, and you can see some posts from like 3 years ago,
And more.
hopefully one this week. Sorry.
No, you post good stuff.
You do.
Yeah,
You should post more.
you should. It's
I
true.
know.
So
This is really an intervention. There's no
I know.
there's no
Hey,
recording anyway.
hey,
It's
I'm
if
just-
you
trying
could
to
zoom
do-
in on Hans' face right now.
That's right. Close
Let's
up.
do one a week.
okay.
Let's do it. Come
okay.
on.
Yes.
Boom.
Boom.
like it.
Awesome.
Okay.
Sorry.
You can find me.
CVESD arts.
I'll make
That's
one of them
right.
about Iris for you.
Yes. Hashtag Kinderlove. Anyway.
So wait, how'd you guys meet?
What?
How'd you guys meet?
Yay,
So-
again, third time.
Oh,
Fourth. Anyway, Zoe, where can we find you?
You can find me at Ms. Kumagai.
You can find me at Mrs. Pridmore.
And you can find me on Twitter, and also when this is released, at Mr. Seligman, MrSeligman. Also, if you want to follow us as a collective for Chaotic Harmony, we are at CH Classroom.
I thought you were about to just drop a second personal.
Oh
It's
no!
like, oh my gosh, she's gonna get another one.
I know.
I post so much. One account's not enough.
I mean, actually, I do have a
lot of
personal.
Twitters. I know.
I have 3 Twitters to work with, but
oh man.
I've got like
Yeah.
a normal human one and a music teacher one and a school specific. It's
Right.
It's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway,
good luck trying to find my personal one.
I know.
Any-
I know what it is.
Yes, you do. Thank you so much, guys, for listening.
Bye.
Peace out.
The Chaotic Harmony podcast is a joint project between Crystal Pridmore, Jonathan Seligman, Zoe Kumagai, and Marc Keehmer. You can find us online at chaoticharmonyclassroom.com. You can email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com and let us know what you think. Give us feedback about what you would like to hear in future episodes. We're on all the socials. Find us on facebook.com/chaoticharmonyclassroom. You can find us on Twitter at CHClassroom, Instagram at Chaotic Harmony Classroom, and you can even find our episodes on YouTube. Chaotic Harmony is the name of our channel. Special thanks to Bryan Pridmore for his help with production and equipment. www.pridmoria.com.
Dude,
that was
mine,
comforting to me because I was like, I was nervous. So
Yeah.
not that you're nervous, but just
Stop being nervous.
Okay.
Stop that.
Okay. Oh man. I just took the load off. I wish I would have known that trick earlier.
Well, yeah.
Well, now you do. Now you do.